Hey, I don't want to do reviews anymore.
No matter what you do, I will always love you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums, actually movies. And today I'm going to do a movie review on Titanic. Yeah. look at my fucking hair. I look like an idiot, do I? So, yeah, I call myself a cinephile. I call myself a movie lover. And I had a conversation with Marty, who is not a close friend of mine, but still somewhat of a nice guy. I had a conversation with him a long time ago, and he was like, "Have you watched Titanic?" And I'm like, "Nah." And he's like, "What? Wait, you call yourself a movie lover? You watched all these random, obscure ass movies, yet you haven't seen Titanic? What? What's wrong with you?" So, you know what? Fuck it. Yesterday I watched Titanic, 1997 by James Cameron. It is a story about a ship called Titanic which sank in the year 1912 after it hit an iceberg, and it has become the most famous and the most popular sinking ship story of all times in human history. So much so that Titanic actually won Best Picture. But little do some people know, actually, this isn't the first movie ever about Titanic. There is actually another film made in the 1950s also about Titanic, but of course, the production is nowhere near as big and the quality is nowhere near as good as this one. So let's talk about this one. This movie is 3 hours and 15 minutes long, and I actually really like it when movies are long for the right reasons. When I watch a war epic or a movie that involves fantasy and adventure, you know what? Take as long as you want. I'll watch it all. But if a movie is all like loving and talking and it's like 4 hours long, I would probably be pretty bored. However, was I bored at some point in Titanic? Actually, no. Titanic was actually really accessible of a movie. The stories are really straightforward, the characters are rather simple, and we have the actual story, which is not much about the sinking ship, but actually about socioeconomic class. So we have Kate Winslet's character, Rose. She is from a really rich family, she is royalty, and she felt trapped. She wanted to escape from that life because that life is like a prison that's imprisoning her. And then there are the poor people, people with limited resources. And that includes Jack, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. And after this movie's release, every single boy in the entire world wanted to be like him. But, anyways, Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie plays Jack, and Jack is a very energetic, very independent boy who does everything he wants to, who goes anywhere he wants to, because he's free like a bird. And Rose really likes that. They fell in love, and of course Rose's family didn't want that. Like, why are you gonna marry some poor kid, you know? And we have Rose's fiance, who is the villain of the movie, and that's basically the entire movie. And the sinking ship is pretty much like what also drives the story simultaneously. Now, I wasn't alive in the year 1997, but I feel like when this movie got released, it received a lot of love, especially when you look at the Oscars. Titanic got Best Picture, and I think many other awards too, including Best Visual Effects, which is actually pretty well deserved. But Titanic got a lot of love, but because of that, it also got a lot of hate. Newton's third law, you know, it applies to movies as well. If a movie gets a lot of love, it will also get a lot of hate. So a lot of people hate Titanic. And because of that, now a lot of people in turn love Titanic again. So kind of almost like a reverse psychology. And so I actually went into Titanic prepared to be disappointed with a very cheesy, crappy love story. However, I came out of this movie fairly entertained, even though I will admit it, the first half of Titanic, not not so good, not so great, but the second half is definitely really impressive and looks way more stunning and grandiose than I have thought. So we have the first 20 minutes of the story where essentially it takes place in present day, present time, where a treasure hunter and a group of other people on a boat went to the sunken Titanic and tried to find this hidden diamond treasure. They couldn't find it, but they found a woman, an old woman, who claims to be Rose. And the first 20 minutes is actually really interesting. I really love it when period films do this, where it starts off with present day, present time, and then it does a flashback to the past. It's like a very smooth way to bring us into the old world. It's a very smooth transition. Instead of the movie opening off and it's already like 1912, like, okay, that's pretty jarring. But if it does a smooth transition like that, I kind of like it. However, the next hour is pretty much your expected cheesy love story. The ship sails off, and then we have all these corny ass dialogues where people are like, "Ooh, welcome to the Titanic. The Titanic is unsinkable. It is the best ship in the world. It is a ship of dreams, blah blah blah." And we have all these dialogues that sort of almost poke fun at its viewers, like, haha, the ship will not sink. Haha, guess what? It will sink. Psych. But it's these dialogues that makes the story and the script just feel so much convenient. And then we have these very stereotypical characters like the captain, who of course has white facial hair, white beard, and acts like a Santa Claus, of course. And then we have the Italian character, who is also very stereotypical. Everything he says it like this, blah blah blah, which is kind of annoying. And I know it's the 1990s when this movie came out, so stereotypes like this won't really bother people. But watching it from 2021, it just, I won't say it's offensive. It's just friggin' dumb, is what it is. Again, and then we have dialogues like, "Ooh, Picasso? Never heard of him. I'm sure his career will not be successful." Funny, because Picasso will become famous after that. And then there's another character like Freud. Who's Freud? Is it one of our passengers? Haha, very funny, because Freud wasn't famous back then, but he would be famous after this. And it's just dialogues like this. And yeah, references to history is cool, but when it does it in such a convenient way, it's just kind of corny. It's kind of corny. Then we have the second half, which I think is actually way better than I thought it is. When the ship actually started sinking, and some people are like, "Oh my God, the ship is sinking," and then the rich people are like, nothing is happening, nothing to worry about. And then the people in the lower decks of the ship, the poor people, they're like, "Oh no, what's happening? We don't know what's happening. Nobody's telling us anything. What's happening?" And that is when the tension slowly builds, and then it's just an entire hour of sinking ship. Like, the ship sinks very slowly, but it just becomes worse and worse exponentially. Like, at first it's like, okay, what's happening? And then it just gets worse and worse, and more people die. And it's actually, wow, it's disastrous, it's chaotic. And that's when I have to talk about how visually well done this movie is. I mean, yeah, this movie isn't like, visually pleasing or anything. Like, as far as colors and composition go, I mean, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's exceptional, but still, the production design is grandiose. Like, the studio's got to spend a lot of money on this shit. We got like chandeliers being broken, like thousands of stacks of china plates falling off of a cabinet. We have like windows exploding. We have cabinets just breaking in half, doors breaking. Like, bruh, this movie must have been really freaking expensive. But rightfully so, because it looks stunning. It looks horrifying. It looks as though I'm in the ship myself, and I would, I would probably lose my shit and panic if I see it like that. It's pretty crazy. The entire sequence where Rose tried to rescue Jack was very nerve wracking. Way more nerve wracking than I thought it would be. Like, for that, Rose had to. She was on the brink of leaving. She could have left alive, totally safe. But no. She went all the way back down to the lowest floor of the ship to find Jack, who is locked in a room. And there's a handcuff. Jack was handcuffed. And then she's like, okay, what am I gonna do? I can't break out of the handcuff. She tried to find the key. She can't find the key. She tried to find help. Nobody tried to help her. And then there was a moment where she's like, well, we're screwed. We're gonna die. And it was those desperate moments where it's like, damn, it's really life and death at that point. She finds an axe. And then we have like, okay, what if Rose accidentally chops off Jack's hand? And the movie takes that to account as well. Like, the movie actually focused on a lot of small details that I really like, especially when it comes to people trying to leave the ship. People on these rescue boats, and then the ship maker saying that, hey, what are you doing? Put more people on these lifeboats. What are you doing? And then there are other like guards trying to maintain order but failing. And then we have this band playing, and just all these people, like women and children, leaving first before the men. And then there are some men who's trying to bribe the ship people so that they can secretly sneak away. The story really focuses on a lot of details like that, which is really cool. However, there are still things about the second half of this movie which kind of bother me at times. There's a lot of convenient moments where it's just very convenient. Like, this movie just throws a very convenient reason as to why the captain sank with the ship. Because he's like, well, I'm the captain. I gotta die with it. So he just decides to die. Well, then why did the ship maker sink with the ship? Because he's like guilty. So he's like, wow, the ship is sinking. But I made the ship. So I must die with it now. Why did the band play until the very last minute? Because they felt like they're gonna die anyways and they're moved by it, which is very convenient of a story. But yeah, anyways, still gotta admit the last few scenes are amazing, and a lot of people are like, oh, did you cry watching Titanic? I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't cry. But was there a moment where I wanted to cry? There actually was. But I'm gonna be honest here. Not a single movie I've ever watched had made me cry more than Your Name. And I know that Titanic will not beat Your Name in making me cry. So there's that. But still, emotional moments, there are some, and the movie ends off pretty satisfyingly, in a satisfying conclusion, I guess. Even though the final villain is still alive, I mean, the story could have been even cornier. Maybe like at the very end, the villain trips and falls and dies, but the movie doesn't do that. So hey, at least there's that. So yeah, overall, Titanic, it is an achievement nonetheless. CGI is really good. I think the production of the whole thing is just amazing. The performance, Leo DiCap is great. Kate Winslet is a really good actress, but I think it's the script, the dialogues, that made her kind of awkward. In the first half, when she had to like use these sophisticated words because oh, she's rich, she's royalty, so she has to use these complicated words. I mean, maybe rich people do use complicated words, but it's just so blatant. But yeah, overall, it's not a bad movie. I would say Titanic is not a bad movie. Would I say it's great though? Not necessarily, but I would totally understand why if somebody comes up to me and say, "Hey, Titanic is one of my favorite movies of all time." So I would totally understand why. But there are still a lot of convenient parts in the story. A lot of the dialogues are still kind of corny. A lot of stereotypes that's kind of dumb. But that's pretty much as far as the cons of this movies go. I'm giving Titanic a strong 7 out of 10. So, have you watched Titanic? From 1 to 10, rate, like, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching.